Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm sure everybody's probably on their way to sleep, and that's okay. I should be. But I just watched this documentary and it bothered my soul. It bothered my soul. It did. And I'm hungry. What should I do? Look, should I get a snack? Um, Let me pull up. So yeah, I watched this documentary. It's called Quiet on the Set. Um, hold 1 second. I just want to make sure something is still happening. I'm still learning too. So, and the noise you hear in the background, if you hear a noise, it is indeed my heater. Listen, why am I typing in heater? Anyways, why is it telling me? Listen, somebody don't want me to be great today, and I don't understand. The lighting ain't right. Why is it doing that? Okay, that's fine. Whatever. So tonight, like I said, I want to talk about a documentary I just recently watched. It's called Quiet on the Set. Let me know if you guys watched it in the chat. It's a very disturbing watch. It's the wrong side. I don't know what's happening with my wig. Y'all let me know. Look, I haven't upgraded to those. Y'all know how they be having $300 wigs, so that's probably even a cheap one. Um, okay. I just want to make sure it's actually live. I don't know any likes. Can y'all like my video? Please? Listen, can I beg for likes? Her, she ain't ashamed. She's not trying to build me. Listen, I'm over here trying to be great. Turn this little microphone around a little bit. I'm over here trying to be great. And I don't know. YouTube trying to hold me up. No, not YouTube. Actually, I gotta get, I gotta get all my devices together. I need to get all of my stuff together. And I'll be working on it every day. Some days I don't feel so great, but I'm still listening. I'm a conqueror. Okay. Is there a song that says that? I'm more than a conqueror. Or maybe there's a Bible verse that says that. There's a pastor in the news, by the way. I wonder, I saw something. It was on the one of my favorite channels. Her name is Diva. It's called the Gray Hair Diva. So if you ever get an opportunity, go over there and check her out. She's really funny and entertaining. But she's talking about some oh, I'm so tired, y'all. Sorry, but listen, I gotta bring you out information. And I'm dedicated. So but she was talking about a pastor. I think he's a Houston pastor. I'm not exactly sure what his name is, but apparently he stepped down from his role as a pastor. And there's a lot of people that feel away about him not saying exactly why. Anyways, I'm going to talk tonight about, like I said, there's a documentary I watched it on HBO, but I don't know if it's available other places. On HBO Max, I believe. And it's called Quiet on the Set, and it talks about Nickelodeon. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my fan, guys. Sorry, because I'm cold and I need it to stop right here on my legs. So the documentary talks about a lot. Forgive me. Forgive me. Listen. Forgive me. So Amanda Bynes is probably the biggest name on the documentary. And I didn't see her in the documentary. So I'm gonna go back and rewatch it again because I tried to locate another documentary about her and I couldn't. And everything that I could locate seemed to be very disparaging of this young lady. And listen, if you have an opportunity, I am so sorry. I promise you, if I wasn't trying to do this, you know what would be happening? What would be happening is I wouldn't even be sleeping. I'd be watching some marathon, whatever. What's the name of that show that everybody liked? Now it's called Dragon something. Oh my God. It said it was like Winter is Coming. I forget exactly what it was called. But anyway, so I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about Quiet on the Set. It basically kind of chronologically starts with Amanda Bynes and some of the other young adults, the children that were on cast at the time. And it talks about their, listen, put me at the top of the prayer list because clearly, I don't understand what is happening. It talks about this video probably will never be monetized. I don't know if I ever even get monetized. And honestly, I don't really care at this point. I'm just here making the videos for the people. And I still can't find my brush. Where is the brush? So that I can comb my hair properly. Because it just keeps doing the most. Like, I don't understand. Okay. Sorry, guys. So, trigger warning. Like I said, this video probably won't ever get monetized. And I do think that it's important to say the words because words matter. To say essay, who are we protecting? Who are we protecting? I told y'all in another video, in a previous video, that the laws, at least in this country, are set up to protect perpetrators of a special kind. So the first special kind are males. Find the lie. It's just the truth. If you go and you look at any state and you look at the laws about pedophiles and sexual assault, I can promise you there is a million loopholes. Go look at it. I've looked at it. I'm a social worker and a therapist, so I've looked at the data. It is what it is. 1 in 4 women will be SA or sexually assaulted. They call it SA. I call it sexual assault. Because it's the truth. That's what it is. That's why I don't like when they use the term domestic violence. It's not domestic violence. Because let's be clear, the violence doesn't only happen at home. And even if it does, it's still assault. They want to categorize it that way. So that way, when people think about it, they think about it as a personal matter. Assault isn't a personal matter, it's a criminal matter. Be clear, it is a criminal matter, not a personal matter. Another thing that people tend to do in this country, and again, shout out in the comments and let me know when I'm wrong about something. But if there's a pedophile in your family, go look at every movie where someone gets married. There is always that creepy uncle. Always. And the creepy uncle is always like, people are like, oh, he gonna dance with the young girls. Why is that okay? Again, you put it on the TV like it's okay. And we're gonna get into it about Nickelodeon, but that's what happens. And then people are like, oh, that's just Uncle so-and-so. He's the pedophile in the family, and people are like glorifying it in a movie like it's okay. It should not be okay. But it is. It's okay for the same reasons that this Dan Schneider guy and who are the other ones? Jason Handy and Brian Peck and all the others down the list. It's the reason that they can continue to do what that they were doing what they were doing. And like I said, we'll get into it. But You still seeing movies made right now with the same craziness. And all they have to say is, well, she's promiscuous anyways. She was a troublemaker anyways. She was always in trouble. She was angry about a lot, She used drugs. You know what they did to Amanda Bynes? She's crazy. Yeah, you'd be crazy too. And be clear, some of your nieces and nephews and whomever else, probably even your children, not the people that understand what I'm talking about. Most likely, not the people that agree with me. I'm just being honest. But the people who probably won't agree with me about sexual assault and who want to have 15,000 questions for the alleged victims and want to use the one case in 10 million where someone was wrongfully accused, like as if we can't recognize that that's also wrong, but they like to use that as like the prime extent. No, that's the exception. Amanda Bynes is the rule. The movies that show Uncle so-and-so dancing at the wedding with the little 17-year-old, that's the rule. Mm-hmm. It's the rule. Why should you have to tell a 6-year-old to get out of that man's lap? Why is that problematic? She's 6. Is it just me? Last time I checked, a 6-year-old should not be able to arouse a grown person. Stop me again when I'm wrong about something. I'm not wrong. I'm right. And I know that I am. Just be clear. But like I said, our society is set up. It's not set up for women. It's not set up for any minority. It's set up for white men. Again, stop me when I'm wrong about something. Go look at the stats. Go and look at your local sex offender registry. Go look at how many of them on there don't look like me and you. I ain't saying people like me and you, the color, don't do it. But just go look at the ones that, are on the list. They love to go look at all the men that look like me and you in the prison. They love to showcase that and be like, oh my God, prisons are overrun with black males. So I think that's wrong too. But let's be clear. I'm not going to even do the I'd rather. But pedophilia is, listen, to me, that's beyond evil. I think all of those people should be in hell somewhere. I believe in forgiveness, and I do believe in second chances. But I ain't God. What did Tamar say? I ain't God. I ain't. So pedophiles don't get up. Listen, they don't get forgiveness for me. Mm-mm. Neither do people who are people. They don't get no forgiveness. Because here's the thing about people like that. They don't stop. They continue. And you know why they continue? Because you have all of I'll just talk about America, but you have all of the people in the world who are conditioned toxically within your family to say, you know what, why is she just now coming out? Why did it take her forever? If that really happened, you would have told your mom or your sister or your best friend. Camille Grammer, come to the front. Isn't that what you said about the now Justice Kavanaugh? That family. Girl, if you don't shut the hell up. What about the victim's family? Anyways, so like I was saying, the reason a lot of people don't end up in prison who should, especially pedophiles or people who are people, is, you know what? He family. He family. And he ain't gonna change. He family. But you know that he's done it to this girl, this girl. I'll tell y'all a little short story, and then we really will get into the Amanda Bynes of it all. But I remember I had a friend, and her friend, my friend, has a younger sister. I feel like she's like 12 years younger or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But I remember one day my friend being like at the store, probably going to go buy some hair, whatever was going on. I was at home with her sister. I was at their home with her sister. And for whatever reason, maybe because, I'm just who I am. I just look like I should be told something secret. I don't know. Maybe I'm trustworthy. I am trustworthy. Her sister said, she makes me promise. She's like, Nikki, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm Chanel. But anyways, she's like, I gotta tell you something. And you can't tell anyone ever. And I knew in my soul what she was gonna say. I didn't know who she was gonna say it about, but I knew in my soul. Because the kind of world that I say we live in, I knew she couldn't tell anyone because of the things I just said. I'm in a family. You ain't gonna ruin that man's life. I had an idea of who it was, but I wanted to earn her trust. And I knew if I told someone, the trust would be gone. And, plus I knew they weren't going to change anything anyways. So I promised. And then I had to figure out a way to tell my friend because I'm like, yes, I promised this, but this young lady, she's underage. At the time, she might have told me this. I'm like 23, 24, maybe, probably 22, 23. And she's like 12 or 13. And she tells me this, and I'm like, oh, I can't say anything. How do I tell her sister without saying, this is what this person told me? This is what your sister said. So, I would always make little comments like, maybe you should talk to her about this. Is there anyone in your family you think might be, touching girls or this, that, and the third? And, I kept saying things like that. And I said lots of things, lots of times about it. So that, I would always encourage her. I think you should talk to her about this, this, and this. Why don't you ask her about, whatever? I would always say stuff like that. And eventually she told her granny. And the other part was I knew people in that family. And it's one of those real close-knit country families. And I hated it because the pedophile's daughter was a friend of mine. She was my friend's cousin. So we were kind of always, she wasn't someone I sought out to be friends with, but she was around. Anyway, long story short, I remember the grandma got mad at me. Why you didn't tell me? I'm like, I couldn't tell you. I promised her I wouldn't tell anyone. But I gave y'all every clue you could possibly give. Anyway. Then I found out later my goddaughter, he had been touching her too. Just terrible. Anyway, so I was watching Quiet on the Set, which is and let me say this. I know I have a little banner there, but I do want to say trigger warning. This is going to talk about explicit commentary, explicit things that have happened. So if you've been AR'd or if you've been sexually assaulted, and one, you're not alone. Let me say that. And there's 1 in 4, at least with the women that have, if there's 4 women there, at least one of them has been assaulted. That's just the stats on the people who do report it that are female. So you're not alone. But there are people who will blame you, who will try to shame you, and this, that, and that. And I'll just say, let's drag all these idiots and savage individuals into the light. So I love what's going on right now with like the Diddy's of the world and all these people. I love it. Bring them all out. T.I. What he say? Bring them out. Yeah. Come on out your closet too, Mr. T.I. That's what the streets are saying. So like I said, everything on this channel is, in my opinion, is for entertainment purposes only, and it is all alleged. Allegedly. So let's get into it. So one of the big shows, there were 4, I would say, major shows on Nickelodeon that were directed, produced by this guy. What is his name? Dan Schneider. Listen. Amanda Bynes referred to Dan Schneider as Harvey Wienstein. She also said something about, she said, imagine She said, imagine, let me see, do I have it in my text message? Did I put it on here somewhere? Because I don't want to say it wrong. I don't know why it doesn't want to come up on here. That's so tragic. But I'm going to paraphrase it. So she says, imagine being pregnant at 13 by your boss. And because your dad touched you or something like that. So basically she's saying her dad is a pedophile and the guy she worked for. She didn't say the name, but we're going to go with Dan Schneider, allegedly. We can go with him. So Dan Schneider started, he led basically 4 major shows. There were, I'm sure, others. The one that was the biggest hit initially was called All That. There was another show called Amanda, another show called Drake and Josh, and then one called iCarly. I can't remember I think iCarly also starred, oh God, what is that young lady's name? Now I'm gonna lose my mind. Hold please. What is that young lady's name? Oh my goodness. Bang Bang. That's the name of the song. And I can't think of her name. Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande starred, I believe, in the same show, iCarly. Y'all remember that song? Okay. Anyways. So these are the 4 shows that I'll talk about. But the one Drake and Josh is the one that I focus on the most because in the documentary, I didn't see Amanda Bynes, which is why I'm saying I'm going to go back and rewatch it. But unless I skipped an episode somehow, I didn't see her in the documentary speaking like how the others spoke. So there was this young man, Drake, and he was on the Drake and Josh show, which came after, like I said, the previous Amanda show and all that show. There was this pedophile there named Jason Handy. Jason, prior to the Drake and Josh show, Jason basically sent a inappropriate picture of his penis, or it's not going to get monetized anyways, but he sends a picture of himself naked to this young lady who was a budding child star. This was, I don't want to say pre-internet because there was email exchange, but I would say pre-social media. So he, had met her mom and he seemed, perfectly fine and normal or whatever. So the mom, he's actually like a cute little guy. The mom didn't, initially she didn't really see anything wrong with it. It was just kind of like, oh, this guy, I think she had been in a commercial or she had been on a show, and he did what groomers do, which is I'm gonna groom the parents and I'm gonna groom the child. But he was grooming the child heavily because she had a computer and he could email her. But one day the young lady goes to the computer. Her mom sees her, immediately shut the computer down, and then run to her room. She was very upset. And that's when her mom found out that this man had sent this young girl, her child, who was very young, a picture of him naked. And then he said, I sent you this, and I'm paraphrasing, because I wanted you to know that I was thinking about you. The mom said she struggled with going to the police because she didn't know how she was going to explain to the police how her child got involved at all with this guy and how he was able to access her in this way. Because, people love to blame the parents too. Oh, they just wanted the money and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, I always wonder to myself, I'm like, when people, it's not even about this particular situation, but whenever something is happening and your mind goes to like whatever the worst place is, it's a negative place. I always wonder, why does your mind do that? And I always come up with, because that's what you're surrounded with. That's what you grew up with, right? So it's sort of like if someone says the word Disney, where does your mind go? I can promise you it doesn't go to some deep, dark alley place. It most likely goes to Mickey Mouse, the Lion King, the Little Mermaid, but more importantly, the ears and everything child-centric, fun, dance, entertainment. That's what your mind typically is going to go to. Family fun, entertainment, no harm. Every child is going to have fun. It is a guarantee. And parents are willing to give up their whole life savings to make sure. Now, again, stop me when I'm wrong. So my point is, if I use the word Disney and everybody's mind goes to the place that I just talked about, which is fun, then if someone is talking about whatever they're talking about, why does your mind not go there? Why does your mind go to a negative this, and this type of scenario? Because that's what you're taught. It's toxic conditioning. You're taught to doubt this person. You're taught to say, well, she must be lying. She must be fast. She must be hot enough, whatever. So if it's the mom, then listen, if she knew that this is her daughter, why she wasn't protecting her daughter? I can't speak for that lady, but my guess is she probably thought, just like the daughter, I'm sure probably thought, this is going to be good for my career. I've already kind of worked with this guy. I know him. He's going to be able to help me. And like I said, the grooming. Yeah, I worked on this show and this show and this show. And I know this person, this person, this person. And as much as I can help, I'm going to try to help get your daughter on the show, on a show. Years later, he gets convicted. The reason the mom was able to come forward, because her daughter is not in the documentary, but the reason she was able to come forward was because the police called her. Someone tipped them off that this guy, Jason Handy, was a savage, an evil, terrible human being. He wrote about it in his diaries. He said, or journals, he was like, I know that it's going to have to happen soon, because I fantasize. And like I said, I'm paraphrasing, and this is allegedly, even though he was convicted of it. He fantasizes about little girls, little kids. It's terrible. It's awesome. But they were roasting Amanda Bynes. The thing that I never understand about that is, so say this happened to your child. Can you even put yourself in that mindset? Is this how you would want people to behave towards your child? Who's literally going crazy because it's difficult for your mind to grasp sexual assault. You know anybody that's good at understanding why they were assaulted in the most inhumane way? Why they were sodomized, why they were trafficked, why they were exploited? You know anybody that's like, I don't deal with that type of trauma. No. And it's lifelong. You don't get to be like, oh, I'm over that now. Mm-mm. It's not what happens. It's a fairy tale to think that's what happens. It's that part in the movie where you got to tell your kids, Uncle so-and-so, stay away from him because he's going to be trying to get your booty in the movie at the end, at the marriage. I mean, at the wedding. You have to tell somebody to beware that they might be sexually assaulted. Why is it okay to invite that person to the wedding? Because he fam? He at the cookout? I can't. Anyway, when they raided this man's house, they found over 10,000 images of children. $1,768 of them were of young girls. 738 images were young girls in bondage, children. You know, I was gonna Google this, but I'm like, I don't even want that in my Google history. I don't need nothing populating suddenly in my. But I don't understand how that even gets to the internet. I do understand it, right? So somebody is doing something, they filming it, and then they putting it up. I don't understand why we don't have laws that are aggressively making sure that that stays. One, we go find these savages. That's number one. And then we're not going to post it so that you could feed the soul of these demons and deviates who are then going to get off on it and or go be encouraged more to go and do this to these kids. Because I can promise you, that man, the more he sat and watched that, the more he wanted it. It just is what it's like drinking, for lack of a better whatever. It's like drinking soda every day. The more soda you drink, the more soda you're going to want. It's just a fact. And when I say soda, sugar. That's what I mean. Why do you think Starbucks is so... Listen, why do you think Starbucks can charge you $6 for a coffee that costs 22 cents? It's the sugar, sis. So that man goes home, and to him, these graphic photos of these kids doing whatever, or the film videos of them doing inappropriate, just exploitation of kids, it is feeding his savage soul. He even says it in his journal. He's like, I'm gonna have to do it soon. I'm gonna have to rape someone. That's what he says. And he does. He was found guilty, so he was convicted of this. And he received 6 years in jail. He has so many counts, but anyways, or alleged, whatever. So you get to go around and destroy people's souls, and you get to just go to jail for 6 years. But the victims have to be locked in a prison of unspeakable memories, when they should just be able to love and enjoy the life that they created. They're on a TV show, becoming, having the most fun they probably could ever have. You're famous, you're earning a really good pay, you're around other famous kids. Like that should be in their memory bank. Y'all know that movie Inside Out? I rewatched it the other day because I'm a giant child. Plus, I want to watch Inside Out too. But I was watching it the other day, and the main chick, the main girl, she's happiness, right? So her job is to make, we'll call her Haley happy. It's interesting too, because on Disney Plus, my husband, you know how you'll have like the kids, the husband, and everybody has like an avatar. He has me as the I guess you could say the star of the show, the happiness for Haley. That's my avatar. Of course it is, because who isn't happy around me? Just saying. But I was watching it the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, I think they have anger, disgust, fear, happiness, and sadness. I think those are the 5 emotions: fear, disgust, happiness, sadness, and anger, right? So when you're assaulted in that way, the fear factor is, listen, who do you trust? Especially if your parents couldn't even protect you. They did what they could. They, unfortunately were unsuccessful with protecting you from savages in an industry on a set that's made specifically to make other children happy. It's like learning there's some dark side to Disney. And I'm not talking about the racial whatever. I'm talking about this type of stuff happening when you go to the most magical place on earth. Like, it's just, it ruins you, you know? And it's unfortunate. Like, I was watching it and and here's the thing. I've worked in sex crimes. I've worked for child protective services. I A lot of the therapy experience I have is with children and adolescents. I could pick them out. I know exactly who probably has, that is highly likely this person has been assaulted. I could pick them out. And it's so sad that I can, but this is the thing too. Like I said, it's 1 in 4. So there's 18 kids in here. Let's count them up. Anyway, how do you get 6 years in jail for that? Then there's another guy, Brian Peck. They're both savages. So, the guy that accuses him, Drake. So this is the good thing about, I would say, a high part of this documentary regarding Drake. Drake had a good father. I don't know, for whatever reason, the father and the mom, they couldn't get along, and then they ended up having a divorce. They just were probably oil and water. They couldn't get along. So Drake ended up being with his father, and I think from a little kid, he was in like maybe like in commercials. Anyways, he was making his way. He made his way to Nickelodeon, right? And he is like, guest starring on shows like what was it called? All That or something. Yeah. So he's guest starring on shows like that, and he's good at his job, right? There's this pedophile, Brian Peck, and he's doing all the grooming in the world. And Drake's father, thank you, Jesus. Drake's father was like, oh, we ain't doing that. So he was very aware. Now, I don't know, but I always feel like someone that's that aware, if you didn't just maybe go to school, or maybe it happened to you, I think that to myself, like, if you're heightened, it's like your sensitivity meter goes up. Kind of like if you're a white lady, no shade to white ladies, but if you're a white lady and you end up with you having a relationship and then you have a baby with a black guy or some other colored person, you have a heightened alert about how people are going to treat your child. Even though you're not even brown, you're not Asian, you're not whatever, you are immediately like, oh, because now you're thrown into a situation or a circumstance that you want to protect your child, right? So I automatically always think or in a lot of cases, I think either A, you've been around a situation where this has happened to your brother, your sister, your cousin, somebody your mom, your grandma, your friend, or it happened to you. Or maybe you're someone like me who's worked in that type of industry so much that you're just like, you could see all the signs. And a lot of times the signs are that person's a loner, that person maybe is probably already being exploited in some way or used. They're probably quiet. Sometimes they're not. And that's how come you could have this these very charismatic actors on a show, like, and on a network like Nickelodeon, where that's why it's hiding in plain sight. Because this is happening to these children, no protections really, allegedly. No real protections, and everything seems great. Why wrong? So that's another telltale sign of like why someone would not necessarily readily say this is happening. But like I said, Drake's father was on it. He was like, "Oh no! Why are you in my?" And I'm paraphrasing, but it would be like, "Why are you touching him so much? Why are you always in his room? Why are you so always around him like that? You should always be leery of somebody that wants to be around your child obsessively for no reason. Like there's no good reason for them to be there. Why are you spending so much time with my son?" Sometimes people don't want you around because they jealous. I've had that situation where it's like, this is my goddaughter. Y'all don't have no money. Let me make sure she has clothes for school. Let me make sure she has a good Christmas. But sometimes people can be jealous. I just thought of that because I'm like, that's kind of how they probably not my goddaughter's mom, but the grandma. Listen, and I'm gonna say one of them, not because I have a whole bunch of god kids, and I'm like, don't nobody else. I told my friends, not one more of y'all can have a child, and I'm the godparent. Look, I told y'all before, I made for 5-star hotels and room service. Okay, so if you with me, that's how the kids right too. Be clear, that's exactly what's going on. So they always want me to be their guy. They got mom, me and my husband. Makes sense. I don't want me as a godmom. But the grandmother with one of my god kids, she just was jealous. She had a stronghold, and she was the one that everybody had to come to because she paid the rent, she paid the car note, like, but she didn't do anything with her life. She just was anyway. So I know how it could look away, but you still should be paying very close attention. What is happening? Why? Why is this person always? And this is the thing. This is the key thing with me. I was always around, but I was always around with her mom, her grandparents, everybody. It wasn't like I'm taking her off somewhere, you know? So it was just very different. Plus, there was always kids around me. I always had my god kids, my nieces and my nephews, because they love to come on Cocoa House. Okay. I got the snacks. We going to the children's museum. We gonna have a listen, they already know. But that aside, I do think you have to be very careful because people will groom your kids, they will groom you, and then it would be a very big problem, right? I never had any problems, like I said, because I'm me, right? And I'm not treacherous and I'm not a savage, but I still do think you should pay attention to who's around your kids. And it doesn't even mean someone that's like a third party, right? Amanda Bynes, listen, what she said about her dad, he right in the same house with her. He's the reason she's alive, allegedly. So it don't have to. This is the thing too about sexual assault. A lot of times people think that it's happening. It is happening in people's families, but they think it's happening from some creepy stranger, some transient person. No, it's the weird uncle that everybody keeps telling you about that's at the cookout and at the wedding. Mm-hmm. It's the Boy Scout leader or the guy at church. And I know there will be people that will be like, women do it too. Okay, again, that's the exception. Men are the rule. It just is what it is. If you don't believe me, go look at the stats. But let's just take the stats out of it. If a man came to your town and said, you know what, the childcare industry is booming. There's hundreds of millions of dollars to be made. And he decides he's going to open a childcare center, daycare, right? He's going to open this daycare, childcare center, and he's going to hire only men to be the teachers, to be the people that are in there taking care of the kids, feeding them, all men staff, including the person making the food, dropping the kids off, picking them up, only men. If I'm wrong about what I'm talking about, and you sitting in judgment, well, you probably already tuned out because, It ain't changing over here. No, it's not. But who's signing their kids up? How quickly do you think that daycare is going to go out of business? Why don't we have any? I'm wrong. Why we don't have none? Because ain't nobody trusting their kids at an all male daycare. And that's why I say it isn't us. There are some crazy whacked out women out there that, yes, like I said, it has happened. It's the exception. It is not the rule, which is why you have only women run daycares. If there are some out there, y'all tell me about them. And I'm not talking about boarding school for all males or boarding school for all females. I'm talking about drop off your 2-year-old, your 18-month-old, can't talk, or maybe he has a delayed talk. Drop off your infant with only men. You're not doing this, sis, or bruh. No one is. Why hasn't it even been tried? Because we know exactly what's going on. This is not news. It's news and people have outrage because they're like, oh my God, they knew. Those people on the set knew what was going on. They're not crazy. Now, I'm not saying in every single situation people always know, because that's obviously that's not accurate, but people know. So Brian, this Brian Peck guy, he was a acting dialogue coach. Okay, so based on what Drake said, and I highly encourage you guys to go watch because this is just like the cliff notes of it, but based on what Drake said when the lady asked him, and I'm paraphrasing, she asked him something like, can you talk to us about what happened to you? And he was like, can be described and then also shown on this type of platform. But if you want to have an idea, just think of the most grotesque, horrific things that you could do to a child sexually. And that's what happened. I was like, whoa. But he didn't have to. I already knew. He said he woke up one night to this man assaulting him. And then he continued, sodomized him. I feel like when he moved in with this guy. So, okay, let me back up. He didn't really move in with him. What happened was like I said, he was spending more and more time with Drake. And so then he did what a lot of people do, which is if they're going to groom you, they built this great relationship with you. They're taking you out to eat. Like I said, they're grooming you, taking you to Disney World, all the things that kids want to do, right? And then they start driving that wedge. Why is your dad always here? He's always complaining about something, this, and that. Because like shows with what's that guy's name? I believe Leonardo DiCaprio. One of these pedophiles did, but I think it was this guy, Brian Peck. It's either Brian Peck or Jason Handy, one of them. But I think it was Brian Peck. Anyways, he has a resume, a believable one. So, like I said, the dad, this guy, he creates a wedge. This Brian guy, he creates a wedge, and then it's like, oh, I don't want to live with my dad. I want to live with my mom because also too, you're becoming a teen, so now you're making all this money. It makes sense. I'm making money. My dad is kind of restricting me a little bit, even though I love him a lot. I can have all this other freedom. It wouldn't be difficult to convince a 13, 14-year-old, even a 15-year-old, even it would be much easier, probably even a 15-year-old, to be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go live over here with my mom. And that's what happened. They ended up, I think the dad said he basically gave up custody, gave all the money because they tried to say, oh, he was improperly used. And the man was like, no, I wasn't. Here's all the money. He said, I'll give you everything. This is what he allegedly told the mom. I'll give you everything. You can have, whatever. Just do not allow him to ever be around Brian Peck alone. I just need you to promise me that. Dad knew. He knew. And he was right. And it's so sad that he was right. Again, we're talking about the Nickelodeon documentary. Called Quiet on Set. It's a trigger warning if you're just tuning in. So this Brian guy gets his day in court because of course he denies it, right? Oh, but let me just give you that. Let me paint the picture. So then he's living with the mom and him and the son and the child, Drake. They live in Orange County. And that's far, I guess, away from wherever he's working at the Nickelodeon studio, one of the other Nickelodeon studios. So the mom is having to, transport him back and forth. And, of course, this Brian Peck guy is like, he knows that, okay, let me bring the mom in. It's going to be more difficult for her. She's tired. She don't want to do this all day, that type of thing, right? So he, of course, I'll take him. He can, then it's, oh, we don't get off set until 10:30. Can we just bring him home tomorrow type thing, right? So then it becomes he's there all the time. And like I said, I'm not going to give everything away, but eventually, Drake is at his girlfriend's house and he's just always there. And then this idiot is like blowing up his phone and then blowing up the phone at the house. And, the mom is like, something right here of his girlfriend, the mother of the girlfriend. She's just like, why is he calling you like that? He blowing up your cell phone. Now he calling me to talk to you because they supposed to go to Disney World. What sound right about that to you? So she called the mom. She's like, I'm putting him in therapy. He really didn't, from what he said, he really didn't do it in therapy. One day he, I guess, was talking to his mom and it just came out. And so then they went and they charged him with, sexual assault. He was convicted. This is the killer part. I mean, there's so many killer parts, but one of the bigger killer parts is that they were able to get, because this was sealed because I guess of his age. But they petitioned the court to say, hey, listen, can we get the letters? So we want to know who are all of the people who wrote all these letters to the judge to say, basically, here's some of the things these people say. That, you know what, he must have been, this pedophile must have been under so much pressure for him to do this. He had to have been, what's the right word? Where it's like almost like you don't have any other choice. That this stuff is so much in his face. And he just, no, there is no pressure to sexually assault a child. Actually, there's no pressure to sexually assault anybody. Be clear. Where's the pressure and the excuses? And this is what I'm talking about with the toxic conditioning. That I don't care. And then they like, oh, well, I didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, why didn't you go talk to the victim? Because you don't. You only want to care about this person because you like them. You don't think. Go and talk to them. Since you say you don't know. And even since, those people still haven't said, I'm sorry about that. I was wrong. Because they don't think they're sorry and they don't think they're wrong. There was 2 guys, I think, that wrote letters and they said something on their podcast, but it's just kind of like, you also then worked on a movie with him. I think he said Spider-Man or something. And you still didn't say sorry? Because you don't give a so stop. Please take down your podcast talking about you. I was so disgusted. You're so disgusted to never apologize, though, huh? You ain't got to do it publicly. Go talk to the man that happened to. Because this man, after he goes through all of this, he walks into the courtroom after this man has been convicted. He has, or it might have been right before he was convicted. But anyways, his side of the courtroom, the pedophile, is full. Industry people that wrote letters, just full. The side of the courtroom for the victim, him, his mom, and his brother. I love that he said he got on the stand and he was just kind of like, I get to sit here and look at you guys, and I'm paraphrasing, and know that you're sitting here on the side of a monster. I get to look at all your faces, and this is who you support. How does Dan Schneider get to literally? Oh, and let me just say this too. He was convicted, but he only got 16 months in jail. How do you sodomize somebody and only get 16 months? How do you do that to a child and only get 16 months? Help me understand. It's a heavy topic. It's just, it's a lot. And like I said, everything on this channel is alleged. I'm praying for Amanda. I'm praying for all the victims. I'm praying for Amanda because I feel like they broke that lady's soul. And then all they did was make it worse with society. And all the people, oh, she's crazy. Look how she's showing up with her wig and her this, that, and the third. How would you end up? Her parents allegedly stole all her money. And claim she's crazy. So let me put her under conservatorship. So really can run with it. Sounds like Brittany to me. Anyway, guys, let me know how you feel about everything. It's a heavy topic. If you have been or you know someone that has been essayed, there's help. I'm going to put links in the description. But until next time, just be very aware. Just be very aware of your surroundings, what's happening with your children, who your children are around. And be clear, just because someone doesn't have a criminal history doesn't mean that they don't have criminal behavior. They just haven't been caught. And working for Child Protective Services, I learned very quickly that the victims look exactly like the perpetrators. So there is no, that's what I was saying. He looks creepy and he's doesn't come outside and his, house is, no. They're right in your living room. They're right at your church and at the Boy Scout meeting, the Girl Scout meeting, and at the school teaching your kids. It's just a fact. The grocery store, the Whole Foods as well. They're running around Beverly Hills too. Because think about it. How many millions of dollars did Nickelodeon make and are still making off of these children? Those shows are still on. And I'm certain that man, Dan Schneider and all of them that have some sort of credit, director's credit or creator's credit or whatever it is, they're still getting paid. What has Nickelodeon done? Oh, we're doing an investigation. You had 20 plus years, decades to investigate. All they would do is, it's kind of like how the Catholic Church, we're going to move into a new parish. But that's what they did with Dan Schneider. They would just be like, well, Dan, you can't have any communication with the talent. But it's his show. He's the director. Like, why not just fire this person? Because we can't. It's the same thing. Like, I remember this one lady years ago, and this last thing on Oprah. I remember she was talking about how her husband, I think, was sexually assaulting her son. She's pregnant with their child and sleeping outside the door of their bedroom on the floor because she wants to make sure that her husband, baby daddy, whatever, doesn't come out of the room and go and sexually assault her son. Why on earth are you keeping this person in your life when you know better? Same thing at Nickelodeon. Same thing in Hollywood. We know Weinstein is problematic. We're just gonna go. We know R. Kelly did this to Aaliyah. We know Diddy is running around doing. We don't care. You know why? Because money. I think that says something is the root of all evil. It's the love of money, the greed. Because listen, I have a whole bunch of fun with money. I go to lots of blue beaches, beaches with blue water with money. Okay, I eat lots of fancy food with money. Listen, I enjoy life, but there are people who are just evil. But I hope you guys, if you have an opportunity, go watch that documentary. I think I'm gonna review the one about Jerry, the guy from Subway. And I wanna, if you guys can, let me know in the chat if you know of a specific Amanda Bynes documentary, because I didn't find one on my platforms that I use. Like I use Disney. It wouldn't be on Disney, I don't think, anyways. But HBO, Hulu. It might be one, maybe on Amazon if one was made. Trying to think where else. Hulu. I don't know all the other ones. I don't use a ton. Oh, Voodoo. It might be on there. I think they call it Fandango now. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please hit all my buttons to like, subscribe, share. Please comment below. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. I have to get back to my live stream so I can cut it off. I don't even know which. It must be on another screen. Where did you go, little stream? Oh, little stream, where are you? Where did it go? I'm clearly still streaming, but it won't let me find my stream. Okay. Where is my stream? This is not it. Oh, Lordy. Why can't I find it? It went away. Where are you? Child. Oh, my goodness. And I'm so hungry. It legit is not going to let me find my live stream. Oh, my God. Well, you know what? I was looking under. Where is the one where I was looking? Oh, I was looking right here. Oh, you know what? I wanted to say this. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. As I try to figure out where my page is. It clearly is on here because I just opened up a new. Oh, this must be it. Yeah, I found it. Sorry, guys. Told you I'm still learning. Have a good night. Bye.